Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive curated just for you. Today we're looking into something pretty alarming, the rise of strokes in young people in India.
Yeah, it's definitely a growing concern.
We've got two articles here, one from the Indian Express and one from the Financial Express,
Yeah,
and they both paint a really stark picture of what's happening.
definitely. It's not just about the numbers either. We need to understand why this is happening and what it means for individuals and the healthcare system.
Exactly. So let's jump right in. The Indian Express article highlighted this dramatic increase in strokes among young adults. It used to be that strokes mainly affected people in their 50s and older. But now,
Yeah, now we're seeing a huge surge in cases among those in their 30s and 40s.
it's a pretty significant jump, too.
Yeah.
The article mentioned it's gone from like 5% of cases to something like 10 to 15% of that younger age group.
And it's even affecting people in their 20s now, too. It's a serious wake-up call that strokes can happen to anyone at any age.
It's scary to think about.
Yeah.
And to add to that, the Financial Express article mentioned that 3 people in India have a stroke every minute.
It is a staggering statistic. And when you consider the limited number of neurologists available to provide that critical early treatment, it becomes even more concerning.
You're talking about that golden hour, right? I've heard that term before, but could you explain what it means and why it's so important?
Absolutely. So the golden hour refers to the first 4.5 hours after a stroke.
Oh, wow. So a really short window.
Yeah. If a patient receives treatment within that time frame, the chances of minimizing damage and improving recovery are significantly higher.
So every second really does count. But if there aren't enough neurologists to go around, that makes things even tougher.
It definitely highlights the need for greater awareness, more specialists, and a more robust healthcare system overall.
For sure. Okay, so we know it's happening more often, but why is this affecting young people in India specifically? What's going on?
Well, the Financial Express article points to a few factors, but a lot of it comes down to lifestyle choices. Things like poor diet, lack of exercise, and chronic stress all contribute to the risk.
I can see that. But honestly, in today's world, are we all susceptible to those things? I mean, who hasn't grabbed fast food on the go or pulled an all-nighter for work? Makes you wonder if we're all at risk to some degree.
You're not wrong. It's why awareness is so crucial. Even seemingly small choices can have a big impact on our long-term health. And it's not just hypothetical. The article highlighted the case of a 19-year-old engineering student from Bangalore who had a stroke during a workout at the gym.
Oh gosh, I remember reading about that. It's hard to believe someone so young and active could be affected like that. What happened to him?
He ended up with something called locked-in syndrome.
Locked-in syndrome.
It's essentially near total paralysis. Imagine being completely aware of your surroundings but unable to move or speak, trapped inside your own body.
Oh my goodness. That's just heartbreaking. I can't even imagine. How's he doing now?
Well, his story actually takes a more hopeful turn. He was treated at a specialized rehabilitation center and has regained some function.
Wow, that's incredible. So even in severe cases, there's hope for recovery.
Absolutely. The brain has this remarkable ability called neuroplasticity. It's like its own internal rewiring system.
Neuroplasticity. Could you break that down a little bit more for me?
Sure, think of it like learning a new language.
Yeah.
It's much easier when you're young, right? But your brain can still adapt and learn even after something like a stroke.
So the brain is constantly rewiring itself.
In a way, yes. And this ability is most active in the first 90 days after a stroke, making early rehabilitation incredibly important.
So in those 90 days, the brain is in overdrive, trying to heal and relearn. It's amazing what the human body can do.
It really is. And in the case of this student, they were able to remove his tracheostomy in just 50 days.
50 days. That's incredible.
It is. He also began walking with support and even started to speak some words. It really shows the power of specialized care and the brain's remarkable ability to recover.
His mother was quoted in the article saying that the rehab center gave him his life back. It's so powerful to hear stories like that.
It truly is. It gives hope to others facing similar challenges.
Definitely. So we've talked about the why and the potential for recovery, but how can we even tell if someone is having a stroke? I mean, aren't the symptoms sometimes subtle and easy to miss?
That's a great question, and that's why knowing the warning signs is so important. The Indian Express article had a handy acronym to help us remember Be Fast.
Be fast. Okay, I like it. Tell me more.
Each letter stands for a symptom. B, balance issues, difficulty walking. E, eye problems, vision loss. F, facial drooping asymmetry. A, arm or leg weakness. S, speech difficulties. And T time is crucial act. fast.
Wow. Okay, so if you notice any of these signs, you need to get help immediately. It's like a checklist you can run through in your head.
Exactly. The sooner you recognize these symptoms in yourself or someone else, the sooner you can get medical attention and potentially save a life.
Knowing Be Fast could literally be a game changer.
It empowers us to take action and prevent long-term damage.
So we've covered the why, the how, and the warning signs. But what needs to change on a larger scale to address this issue in India? It seems like a pretty big problem.
It's a multifaceted challenge for sure. The experts in both articles emphasize the need for nationwide awareness campaigns, especially those targeted towards young adults.
That makes sense. There's still this perception that strokes only affect older people. We need to break that misconception.
Exactly. And beyond awareness, we need to promote lifestyle changes, encourage healthy habits, and emphasize stress management techniques.
It sounds like it's not just about medical intervention. It's about a fundamental shift in how we approach our health and well-being.
Precisely. And we need to expand access to quality rehabilitation facilities across the country. Not everyone has the same opportunities for specialized care, and that needs to change.
It sounds like everyone has a role to play in tackling this issue, from individuals making healthy choices to policymakers implementing systemic changes. But where do we even start? What can we do as individuals to make a difference?
You know, one simple yet powerful thing you can do is share this information with your friends and family. Spreading awareness is incredibly important. Make conscious choices about your own health. Choose healthy foods, prioritize exercise, manage your stress. Every small step counts.
And if we see any of those Be Fast symptoms, don't hesitate to act. Time is brain, as they say.
Absolutely. Every second counts.
This has been an incredibly insightful deep dive already. Thank you for breaking all of this down for me.
It's been my pleasure. The more we understand about this issue, the better equipped we are to address it.
I couldn't agree more. Now let's dive even deeper into what needs to change to create a healthier future for India's youth. Hearing about that engineering student's recovery, it really gives you hope.
It does. It shows what's possible with the right care and support.
We talked earlier about the need for more rehab facilities in India, especially for young people. What are some of the hurdles in making that happen?
Well, one of the biggest challenges is the cost of building and staffing these specialized centers.
It makes sense. You need highly trained professionals and specialized equipment.
Exactly. And then there's the issue of access. Not everyone lives near a major city where these facilities are typically located.
That's a huge barrier for people in rural areas.
It is. We need to find ways to bridge that gap and make sure that quality rehab services are available to everyone regardless of where they live.
And it's not just about location. The cost of rehab can be a major obstacle for many families.
Absolutely. It can be incredibly expensive, especially for long-term care.
So it's a double whammy. You might not have a facility nearby, and even if you do, you might not be able to afford it.
It's a complex problem with no easy solutions. But it's something we need to address if we want to ensure that everyone has a chance to recover from a stroke.
It sounds like we need a multi-pronged approach. Something that involves not just building more facilities, but also making them more affordable and accessible.
Exactly. It requires a collaborative effort from the government healthcare providers and insurance companies.
It's about creating a system that supports people throughout their recovery journey.
Exactly. And it's an investment worth making, because the health of our young people is crucial to the future of India.
So circling back to what we can do as individuals, we talked about spreading awareness and making healthy choices. Is there anything else we can do to push for meaningful change?
Don't underestimate the power of advocacy. You can contact your elected officials, support organizations working to improve stroke care, and make your voice heard.
So it's about being informed, making healthy choices, and speaking up for change.
Exactly. It's about taking ownership of our health and demanding a system that supports everyone's well-being.
This deep dive has been incredibly eye-opening. I have to admit, before we started, I didn't fully grasp the magnitude of this problem.
It's a growing concern, and the more people who are aware of it, the better.
But now, armed with this knowledge, I feel empowered to make a difference.
That's what we hope for. Knowledge is power. The more we understand, the better equipped we are to advocate for change.
Absolutely. And speaking of change, I know you have a final thought that might leave our listeners thinking about this topic in a whole new light.
The rise of strokes in young people begs the question, is it time to rethink how we approach health and wellness in the 21st century?
Wow, that's a big one. Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Our current healthcare system is often focused on reacting to illness after it occurs. But with these trends, we're seeing maybe it's time to shift gears and prioritize prevention and early intervention.
So moving from a reactive approach to a more proactive one.
Exactly. This means emphasizing healthy lifestyle choices, encouraging regular checkups, promoting stress management techniques, and really cultivating a culture of well-being from a young age.
So it's not just about individual responsibility, but also about creating an environment that supports healthy habits.
Precisely. And this requires a collective effort from individuals, communities, and policymakers.
It's a big shift, but it's one that could have a profound impact on the health of future generations.
Absolutely. We have a responsibility to create a world where young people can thrive, and that starts with prioritizing their health and well-being.
This deep dive has given me so much to think about. Thank you for sharing your expertise with me.
It's been my pleasure. I hope this conversation inspires further thought and action.
And for you listening, remember, be fast. Knowing these signs could save a life. Share this information with your loved ones, your friends, your community. Let's work together to build a healthier future for everyone. It's pretty incredible to think that even small, everyday choices can have such a big impact on our health in the long run.
It's true. We often underestimate the cumulative effect of our habits.
I know, I'm definitely guilty of that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels like we're constantly bombarded with things that tempt us to make unhealthy choices.
Oh, absolutely. Everywhere you look, there's fast food advertising, social media posts promoting unrealistic body standards, and the constant pressure to be connected and productive.
It's no wonder we're seeing these health issues popping up in younger generations.
Exactly. We're living in a world that often prioritizes convenience and instant gratification over long-term health and well-being.
It feels like we're trading in home-cooked meals for processed snacks and family time for screen time.
And it's not just strokes that are on the rise. We're seeing a similar trend with other chronic conditions like diabetes, heart disease, and even mental health issues.
It's a sign that something needs to change. We need to shift from a reactive approach to health to one that focuses on prevention.
Absolutely. We need to move beyond simply treating symptoms and start addressing the root causes of these health problems.
So how do we do that? What are some practical steps we can take to shift towards a more preventative approach to healthcare?
Well, for starters, we need to prioritize health education. Empower young people with the knowledge and skills they need to make healthy choices for themselves.
So it's not just about telling people to eat their vegetables, but actually explaining why it matters and how to make it happen.
Exactly. It's about giving them the tools and support they need to navigate the complex world of nutrition, exercise, and stress management.
But education alone isn't enough. We also need to address the systemic factors that contribute to unhealthy choices.
You're absolutely right. We need policies that promote healthy environments, like access to affordable, fresh produce, safe spaces for physical activity, and walkable neighborhoods.
And of course, we can't forget about access to affordable healthcare so that people can get regular checkups and preventative screenings without breaking the bank.
It's all interconnected. Creating a healthier society requires a multifaceted approach that involves individual responsibility, community action, and government support.
This deep dive has really opened my eyes to the magnitude of this challenge. It's clear that we all have a role to play in creating a healthier future.
Every small step counts. Whether it's making healthier choices for yourself, advocating for policy changes, or simply spreading awareness, you can make a difference.
To everyone listening, we urge you to share this information with your friends and family. Start conversations about health and wellness, and get involved in initiatives that are making a difference in your community.
Remember, small changes can have a ripple effect. Let's work together to create a healthier future for ourselves and for generations to come.
And if you or someone you know experiences any of those BFAST stroke symptoms, don't hesitate to seek medical attention. Time is of the essence.
Thank you for joining us on this crucial deep dive.
It's been an honor to have this conversation with you. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay well.